Well, hello! The moment has finally come on this really incredibly frigid day. I am about to do the big Platinum 3776 video that has been long promised. So, let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. Do you have a favorite nib on the Platinum 3776? Do you have a favorite finish? Is there a special edition you like? Please let me know down in the comments. So let's dive into the Platinum 3776. So my relationship with the Platinum 3776 was a bit of a love-hate relationship to begin with. I saw the Platinum 3776 Shoji, a special edition, and I thought, it's so beautiful! And I bought it, got it, and I was so disappointed. It's a reasonably comfortable pen to hold. I like it as far as holding it. I will admit I'm not a big fan of the pen. I think you can't see it, but there's injection marks on it. There's a little bit of cracking in here that I just think looks cheap. Injection mark right here, and I know that's how plastic is. But just the pen looks cheap. Writing with it just does nothing for me. It doesn't excite me. I can't put into words why it just doesn't. You know, holding it, it's fine to hold, but it'll squeak a little as I write. You know, squeak in the barrel, not the nib squeaking on the paper. It's just kind of a meh. I keep it because this is one of my consumerist purchases. I bought this puppy, all excited about it, spent too much money on it, got it, and I had that huge letdown of thinking, oh my gosh, you just spent all that money on a bleh. It's not a bad pen, but it wasn't worth what I paid for it. In fact, my original review of the video is linked down below. But I hung on to the pen and realized after a while that I liked it. Well, hello. I wanted to review the Platinum Shoji. Now, I've reviewed this pen before. Way back in my early days reviewing, back when I was still recording videos on the iPad or else my laptop camera, as a matter of fact. But I said some unkind things in that review, and if you've been following this channel since then, you may have noticed that I seem to have a lot of Platinum pens now. So let me tell you what's up. I was wrong. Or my tastes have changed. And you should always be aware that your tastes are going to change as you learn more and discover more and just learn more about yourself and what you like and what you don't like. It just was really slow to grow on me. And as you can see, I now have a lot more Platinum 3776s to have to keep it company. So I started this whole series on the Platinum 3776 last spring, May 7th. I'm trying to get my dates right. So on May 7th of 2018, I started this. Oh, let's put it under here. With my original review. And something horrible happened. I was storing everything on a hard drive, which I don't seem to have over here. I may have finally thrown it out. Nope, there it is. I've been saving it down here just for this. So now I can throw it out for real. External hard drive, dropped it on the floor. Lost a ton of video, a bunch of reviews, this, some amazing driving footage, just a lot of stuff lost. I no longer store my video footage in this way, but learned my lesson the hard way. So this is me refilming it, and I'm going to piece in bits and pieces from the original review because parts of the writing sample just cannot be replicated. What I did, besides showing each nib, is I uncapped one pen per month because one of the neat things about the Platinum 3776 is its slip and seal mechanism. So let's take a look at that first. I just kicked the table. So the Platinum 3776 comes with a slip and seal mechanism, which you can see in this Shoji. You see that bit turning in there? Yeah, not the nib. That bit right there. That is the slip and seal mechanism, which Platinum claims will keep the pen sealed for up to 2 years. I didn't test it that long. I tested it for a few months. I really should just bookmark the page for the duration of filming this video. The longest I kept any of them was from May 7th, 2018 to December 18th, 2018. I'll make remarks on each one as I go through my video today. But all but one started up flawlessly. The one which was flawed may not have actually been due to the slip and seal. So I'll get to that when I get to the one that had troubles. So we're going to recreate all this. I no longer have enough platinum black to do it, so I refilled them all with Mont Blanc black. So that's the slip and seal mechanism. Now I'll just pick this one up as a example. The higher end platinum pens, like a Platinum President or the celluloid versions, do not have that slip and seal. They have, other features to make them worthwhile. You may have heard that noise. You'll probably hear my furnace and a couple other things making noise. Very windy outdoors, and I've got a thing outside that flaps against the house. And yeah, it's very cold, so the furnace, even if I turn it down, is going to come on. So, to start at the top, this is one of the early special editions of Shoji. They all have, nice, what would you call it, nice finial. Same thing there. The Shoji came in a nice color with the different lakes around Mount Fuji on this inner cap. Some of the other special editions, because it does come in special editions, the Shengyo finish, which is supposed to be like ripples of water, or sunrise. Supposed to look like a sunrise. Nice color, rays of sunlight coming in. I like it. There was a Kumpu finish I really liked too, but I didn't get it. I bought a different pen at the time. Oh, and another neat thing they started doing, and I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera here, but they made the nut up there start looking like Mount Fuji. You have a Yamanaka finish, which is more ripples of water. That's one of the lakes around Mount Fuji. I think that's a very attractive finish. They have a celluloid version. I bought the koi, which is a decorative fish. Can you call a fish decorative? I'm going to. It's a celluloid anyway. Very beautiful. One of my favorite pens. Just see the depth of the celluloid in it. They discontinued them for a while. I think they ran out of celluloid, but they're back on now. Generally, you'll pay a bit more than you would for the normal price pen. Some other semi-special editions. I have a Lavande. Nice Lavande, I guess. Kind of a lavender, I should say. Lavender-colored finish. Because there is a lilac-colored finish also with rose gold, which I kind of like. And rose gold plated nib. And then your more standard versions. I have a Chart, which is from the Chart Cathedral. Just a very dark blue. Music nib. We'll come back to the nib when I get to that pen. And finally, the Bourgogne finish, which is wine. For a pen with a gold nib, this is a very reasonably priced pen. Or you can pay a lot for a special edition or a celluloid. Up to you. So let's take a look at how each one writes, because my goal is to compare how they write and then talk a little bit about how long-lived the mechanism is. So as I said, I'm working with the Platinum 3776, but I'm using the Mont Blanc black finish. Ink. I'll just mention some of the things I saw originally that I didn't care for. Injection molding. Sometimes you could see not seeing it on this one. Sometimes you can see lines from, well, you can see it, but I see it's not showing up well on the camera. You could see lines from the injection, you know, where the pieces of the mold fit together. Bothered me at the time, but I have gotten past it, and I've gotten so I really like the pen. So this first one, and I guess I should also mention cartridge converter pens, but they use a proprietary cartridge. So I'll show you that too. Believe it or not, I do have an outline down here. I'm just not doing a good job following it. So if you look at the cartridge or converter, not a standard international by any means. It's proprietary. Gives some advantages and disadvantages, I suppose. I present it here merely as a piece of information. So this first one I'm going to write with has a soft, fine nib. Probably my favorite out of all the nibs you're going to see here. A couple of weeks ago you may have seen I did a Nikaya video. Ordering the Nikaya, I had no question what nib I wanted. I wanted a soft fine. And that is what I have here. They all have the same feed except possibly the music nib. And it's friction fit. I don't recommend pulling it out all the time, but if you're into that kind of thing, I suppose you could. So this is, I don't have to name the pen, do I? This is my soft, fine nib. We'll do a couple little swirls and swishes with it. Now, when I say soft fine, I mean soft. I don't mean flexible. No pressure, I get that. Pressure, I get that. This does not substitute for a flex nib at all. On this side, I'm going to start just categorizing them. So soft, fine. We'll do a no pressure and a pressure. And let's do a whatever that is. Alright, so that's a soft fine. Now I'll just keep it here for a minute. Because I also, my most recent purchase was a regular fine in this lavande finish. And I think you can see already it's a little broader than the narrowest of the soft fine. Doesn't give a whole lot of line variation either. So under fine, there we go. So we'll take a look at the nib by itself, and then we'll pair it up with the soft fine, see if we can notice any differences. So that's the nib. Has an F written on it. Same feed. Now let's bring out the soft fine. We'll set them side by side here. So don't pay attention to minor color differences. We want to see differences in the nibs. What I see, to my untrained eye, is that the soft fine seems to be longer and it's thinner at the top. Also says SF on it. And I feel like the end there, the end bit of the nib is a bit different. From the side, I see, and again it could be in my imagination, but I see some difference. I'd say that the soft fine is thinner, much thinner, and doesn't wrap around the feed quite as much. But the thinness is what I see. That's the biggest thing. We'll compare that because I am about to bring out a medium and a soft medium. Platinum also does have an extra fine and an ultra extra fine. I do not own them. Maybe someday I will, but I'm in no hurry to do so. And I'm told that there is a soft broad, but I've never seen it for sale. So this is a Yamanaka finish. Quite attractive. We'll look at its soft medium nib. So, same feed again. I will just mention that this was the only one I had trouble with after my big unveiling. But and you didn't see any of that, I apologize. And the reason I think I had trouble with it is I think it just sat so long that the ink got soaked back up into the pen and there was just no ink in the nib. Not that it dried out, because it started writing within instants. So, soft medium. No pressure. Pressure. You can see it definitely a thicker line, although to my uneducated eye it looks a lot like the fine as far as the not flexed version. So again, setting that aside so I can save it for comparison purposes. We'll compare it to the one that started the whole thing, the Shoji, another special edition, my very first special edition pen of any kind. This, of course, is a medium nib. I wanted a fine at the time, and all they had was medium, so I just thought, well, I'll get a medium then. One fault I've seen with this one is ink does get inside this section, and I can't get it out. Is that a big problem? Not necessarily. So this is a regular medium. Interesting. As you can see, there's a little bit of line variation. This is not what they would call a flex pen, but you know, you can get some out of it. I'm still using my iPad because I haven't figured out how to film the writing samples yet. But anyway, the pen is noisier. I'm still not used to writing on looking at the iPad. But anyway, the pen's a noisier pen. I don't know if the microphone picked that up or not. We'll try this. We'll just show you pressure. Yes, my table squeaks. And look, it ran dry. That's one of the things I don't like with this pen, is it does seem to run dry occasionally if I do too much writing with it. Now if I just do light pressure, no heavy writing, it just goes on and on and on. But if I press down the way I was doing right here, it just stops. So anyway, overall, it's just kind of an underwhelming pen. Not a bad pen, just that right there is exactly what happened. And as you can see, I solved it that quickly. May have been this pen. Maybe it was this pen. You can see not a lot of flex to it. But again, the medium is definitely thicker without pressure than the soft medium. No pressure, pressure. At least, I should mention, at least as much pressure as I'm willing to put on the nib. So let's compare. We'll put them side by side, looking down from the top. Wow. Okay, there we go. you don't know how hard this shot is for me to do. Alright, so what I see, again, it seems like it tapers down more than the regular medium. But there's that wind blowing that thing, if you heard that. But not a lot. Oops, got inked myself. And then from the side, that's where I see the difference. The soft medium, this one, is definitely a thinner nib than the regular medium. Which brings me up to the broad, which is in this gorgeous, incredible koi finish. One thing people don't like and they'll criticize is the celluloid is in a sheet and then it's wrapped around. Some people are very bothered by that line. Doesn't bother me at all. It kind of gives the hint. Also, you can kind of tell it's celluloid because if you smell it, we'll let you take a sniff there. You get a little bit of a camphor smell. You probably can't tell, but there is no slip and seal mechanism in there. But this is a broad nib. Like I said, I am told that there is a soft broad, but I've never seen it for sale. So perhaps that's a Japan-only thing, or perhaps it's a myth. So that's the broad. This is a fun one too. Don't get a whole lot of line variation with it, but dang, I like writing with it, and I just love looking at this pen while I write with it. So we'll add broad to my list over here. No pressure, pressure. And my L thing. You can tell it's also very wet, much wetter than these others. Definitely wetter than that, but that was a little bit of ink starvation. So, quite thrilled with this pen. There's several celluloids if koi doesn't tick your boxes. This just happens to be the one. Oh, there's me. This just happens to be the one I like. And then I purchased this one in the Shengyo finish. This is a Coarse nib. Coarse is Platinum's version of double broad. I don't know if they actually have a flexible or a soft version of this. But I like this one a lot, especially with certain inks. This is a nice one with the Platinum Classic Black inks. So again, I will just point out that this is the C stands for Coarse, which is their way of saying double broad. The ink, I'm suddenly feeling a little bad about this, but this is what it is. This is Sailor. Yeah, one of the other big Japanese manufacturers, Gentle, Sky High. So this is awkward. I did it. I'll just be honest. Platinum makes some very nice pens. I have found their classic inks to be interesting. I even own one, or maybe two. In general, though, not that their inks are bad inks. There's other inks I like better. So that's why we're not doing a platinum ink here. So put the Coarse here. No pressure, pressure. So there might be a little shape to this nib. It's hard for me to judge that. Yeah, there's some. Not a lot. It's still a fun pen to write with. A lot of fun. Dang, I need to get this black out and get a fun ink in there. And my last one, which turns out not to be as much a thrill as I thought it would be, is Music Nib. My biggest problem with it is it just seems too dry. But it comes with a double slit. 14 karat music. I have the feeling that it may have a slightly different feed. I don't know that because I've never taken it out, but that's my suspicion. One thing different from Music Nib is kind of a stub nib. One difference is they usually have tipping, whereas stub nibs do not. And of course, when you have a music nib, now see, it seems to like this ink. That's the big perk. You get thin lines and thick lines, kind of like with a stub. A little wetter, and like I said, there's tipping. Let's try a little pressure. This is not a music nib like the Noodler's Nippon set. It does not flex. So let's do Moo for music. I don't know. All right, and just so we can appreciate them all one more time, let's just do a little hash mark. Because you always do your flexing on your vertical strokes, and in your horizontal ones you do not. I love that one. Now I will tell you, out of all these, my least favorite is the fine. In fact, I'm going to embark on a new study with the fine. Today is January 28th. We'll return to this spot in 2 years and see how well this pen does, because honestly, I'm not going to miss it. Oh, did I say that out loud? I like the others, I just don't particularly care for that one. Okay, the soft medium. That's also why I won't be getting an extra fine or an ultra extra fine. That's a good one. Oddly enough, I enjoy the medium. It's just that darn fine I don't like. Too scratchy. And a platinum nib, I don't know if you could tell, generally is not a smooth nib. They definitely have some feedback, which I appreciate. It's just that fine has a bit too much feedback. And I don't like the line it writes. Okay, coarse. Whoops. Supposed to be a hashtag, doggone it. So before I unveil my face again, I just want to take you back to the original review. Back here. And I was going to dig up my footage from all the different, pens in use where I unveiled them, but then I changed my mind. I'm too busy. Did basically the same tests. What I wanted to point out is I tested them about one a month. Of course, I did my broad one first because that has no, sorry, my other camera quit. Don't know why I was running it, but I am. My broad one doesn't really have lots of line variation, but what a fun pen to write with it is. That was the first one. No problem starting up after over a month and 13 days, I guess, sitting through, not the hottest months of summer. Then I had to get out the soft fine. Starting to get hot then, but again, no trouble starting up. Then I moved on to, July. What month comes after July? August! Then I got out the music nib. I don't know why I felt like I needed to. It's not one of my favorites of the batch. Again, no trouble. September, got out the Coarse, no trouble. Seem to have skipped the entire month of October. Then in November 1st, got out my soft medium. And I'm remembering now because I can see it. No trouble. The fine, no trouble. And this is the one, did the same thing you just saw today. So apparently the ink drains out of the nib. But same thing, it started right back up then. Make of that what you will. I'm going to put photographs of these tests, both of them, on Instagram. I'm also going to put photographs of the pens. And then on the community part of YouTube, I'm going to photograph this latest test and the earlier test, and they'll have to be two separate posts, but whatever. So look forward to that. No promises on the Instagram yet. Fingers crossed. Our basketball game tomorrow night gets canceled and I have time because it's going to be bitterly cold. It doesn't look like temperatures are going to rise above zero, and the school we're playing is coming from about 90 miles away. And it's not like there are towns along, or even cell service in some spots, along the way between here and there. One town, I guess, but that's it. Not even joking, because we are kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, kind of hoping they'll just do the smart thing and cancel so that I can come home and work on this masterpiece. Maybe I'll do something special with it. We'll see. But here's my thoughts on the Platinum 3, and I can't believe how long I've been doing this, because the furnace has now run twice while I've been filming this. And it's so cold I don't care if you hear the noise this time. Anyway, I love the model. I think they are very well made. I think especially the regular models, are a bargain for what you get. Gold nib, quality manufacturer, and I like the feedback. It's not scratchy. It just gives you feedback saying, oh, I'm writing on paper. Who knew? I like that feeling. I know some people don't. Some people like the glassy smooth, and if that's the case, either get it worked on by a nib maestro or, buy a different brand. If you buy a Nikaya, you're getting a platinum nib off of this model pen. And that's how I made my choice for my Nikaya. That soft fine will not be sitting idle now that I have a Nikaya, because I'll take that soft fine with me to work. Nikaya does not go to work. It rarely leaves its corner of the living room. So, yeah, that's my video of the Platinum 3776. If you enjoy special editions, they seem to be coming out with a special edition every year. And they are finding some very nice, what I appreciate are textured finishes. And I don't see too many companies really experimenting with texture the way Platinum has been. So that's fun to see. So, yeah, I'll come back in 2 years, if I remember. I'll probably remember. I'll come back in 2 years and we'll discuss this fine pen and see how well the slip and seal worked after 2 years. And it will just sit in my pen case the whole time, sealed, not being opened. We'll see how it does. So, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, do you have a favorite finish on the Platinum 3776? Do you have a favorite nib? Maybe there's a finish you'd like to see, or a nib you'd like to see. Or maybe you would like to leap to the defense of the fine, or extra fine, or ultra extra fine. I know those are good for Asian characters, so Possibly down the road, if I get good at Chinese writing, I may want an extra fine or an ultra extra fine. We'll see. But I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.